Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, well welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Mr. Luck. In today's video, I will be discussing a game that went from being one of the most popular fashion games on the Roblox platform to a game that can now barely scrape a couple thousand players. From its early days containing light fairies and dark fairies, to introducing brand new halos and sets, to the release of multiple campuses. That's right, today we'll be talking about Royale High. That's right, today we'll be talking about Royale High, and how in just a year, it basically vanished off the platform, along with its once loyal fanbase. But before we do that, we have to go back in time to the early days of Royale High. 2017. A developer named Call Me Bob, also now known as Barbie, created a game called Fairies and Mermaids Winx High School. And basically, the preference of this game was you could fly around as a fairy and roleplay with different players, while also going to classes and doing different assignments. You could go to lessons and basically create elusive storylines and just honestly have a good time with your friends. It became as a role-playing game, which is one of the most popular genres on the Roblox platform. And thus, it's pretty self-explanatory that in the future it would further cement itself as a huge game on the Roblox platform with a huge fan base, which, it's not lying, but how did it go from seeing over 400,000 players to now a game that can't scrape 4,000 players instead? Well, this is the beginning, guys. This is where it all started. But unfortunately, due to copyright, Call Me Bob had to rename the name of the game because it was clashing with a popular TV series called Winx Club. But due to copyright reasons, she had to change the name to the now infamous Royale High. Along with that, as a side quest, you could collect diamonds, which in return, you could pay to buy new items to revamp your avatar. While the aesthetics were pleasing to a lot of people, what really made people stay was the fact that you could just talk to someone and roleplay with someone, and you wouldn't care where the storyline would go because it was just fun to do so. You would see light and dark fairies flying across different campuses, as I explained earlier on. You could see school roleplays happening, which I think is just solidifying why in the early days Royale High was starting to become a huge game, because not only did it appeal everyone with their fantastic visuals, but it also made people stay because of the quality time that they could play with each other. As a result of all of these reasons, the Royale High game began to surge, and it began to recruit many Roblox players and create a loyal community that over the next few years rocketed up into a huge community. Along with this, on YouTube you could find many related videos to Royale High, which, with the appealing thumbnails targeted towards children, it began to cast a shadow for Royale High, solidifying it as a game that many content creators play, in which the appealing aesthetics would also spring out to other people as well, making them aware of the game and make them play it, on account of these amazing storylines set up by YouTubers and just incredible videos and gameplay, which further solidified it as an amazing experience. With also the release of different sets, items, it now became a game where you could both roleplay and collect amazing clothing to style your outfit. As if Royale High wasn't doing amazing already, on the 4th of October 2020, after the release of the Halloween update, Royale High hit a whopping 341,000 concurring players. It further solidified Royale High as not only the 4th most popular Roblox game on the platform, but also the most popular fashion game on the whole platform, further solidifying it as a pioneer for future fashion games that would come out. But while the players were skyrocketing, something else was also skyrocketing. As more and more people started playing the game consecutively, the price on certain items would also rise. And instead of it being a fun role-playing game, it was now changed to a game where now it was based upon how many items you had and what made you look the best. With things getting more expensive, it meant that people were focused on getting the limited edition sets or brand new items that came out. It was no longer something that you could get on the way as you were role-playing. You had to do it then and at that minute, because in a second it would be gone and the next season would be around. With the huge mass of players joining the game, farming routines also became apparent in how to get more diamonds, which in return meant that Royale High's economy was going up and up and up, and they could base these farming routines on higher prices for higher items, meaning in return they would get more. With the huge influx of item prices rising, so did the quality time online as well. This person states, "I just spent 2 hours farming and expected to get 100k diamonds after pouring that much time into the game. But no, I only got 30k diamonds." That is insane. On Adopt Me, if I am playing for about 1 hour and I'm really grinding, I could get about 30k thousand bucks, give or take, if I'm really grinding for it. And even if I'm not, I'll probably get around 20k, probably. So that is honestly insane. However, if you did not want to spend hours and hours grinding, your only benefit would be going into the trading servers to trade for items. And even then, if someone else has a huge priced high demand item, they could charge you for thousands of diamonds. Thousands. And still, you give away all your diamonds for that. Which, I think, I'm pretty sure you have to even be at a certain level to even be able to trade. I'm not sure, I haven't played Royale High in forever, but I'm pretty sure it was somewhere between 130. That's when you could go into the trading server. So, for the newer players joining, not only do they have nothing in their inventory and having to spend hours grinding into the game, but they also couldn't trade for items either. So, there were hacks put out onto YouTube and certain channels made specifically for tradings. Trading servers were now the hype, and unlike the early days where you spoke to people because you wanted to create elusive storylines, now you were speaking to people to show off your rarest items, and seeing what you could gain in return from them. Players started to get outraged that trading was now becoming a big problem. They were claiming that Royale High was coming to its downfall, that Royale High had fallen off, and now its only priority was making money off rarest items, as expenses were rising even more. Players got outraged that trading was getting this much spotlight, and in fact they were just outraged that trading even came out, and it seemed as if Royale High lost its royal magic that made it what Royale High was, and therefore people stopped joining the game. However, another issue that came up was scamming. Now, other games do have this problem as well, but in the early days of Royale High, it wasn't an issue because there wasn't a thing of trading back in the early days. But now that trading came out, scamming was on the rise. In 2020, Barbie announced that a new school was in the making, thus a new campus would be coming. By now, we had Campus 2 for a very long time, and now a new school and a new campus was being made, and everyone was so excited for this update. And in fact, people believe that this may be a pinnacle for Royale High, and maybe the players would start rising again. But this was just not the case. What was weird though was after that, there was a string of events that just
didn't feel right.
At first, Barbie announced that the school would be done by September of 2020. But over the recent weeks leading up to that event, players were getting so excited. There was going to be a brand new campus, there was going to be probably fabulous updates to come. They were just reveling in it and were so excited for this new campus. But when September rolled around, there was no sign of it whatsoever. She did make a tweet stating that she would just need a little bit more time to get it done. And over time, she would say the exact same thing, which after a while of promising the same things, you'd start to get a little bit more agitated and annoyed. And a lot of players were questioning, why is this happening? Why am I waiting this long when Barbie has already said that it would come out in September? It's not September anymore. It's past that, and the campus is still not out. And she keeps telling us, hey, we're going to do it at this point. Just need a little bit more time. Just a little bit more time when we have enough time to get it done. That's what the community were thinking.
Not what I'm thinking, the community. Don't come at me, Royale High.
Until 3 years later, from the first announcement, there would be a Campus 3 release trailer. And this is when the players started to get excited again. They were ecstatic, they were ready for this campus to be announced and introduced into the game. And the players started saying, oh my gosh, I understand why this took so long. Because yes, visually, the game was stunning. Now, I could see why the developers took so long on it. The visuals were just beautiful, and that is really what attracted people into the third campus. And that, that little magic sort of came back for a split second. The Royale High that people still loved and cared about. But that was sort of it. Alongside its visually stunning features, there was only one proper classroom that you could go to, which was musical chairs. There were other classrooms said to be coming out soon, but took an incredible long time to be announced and released as well. So, as of now, we've only had one classroom added into the game. And also, we had a small sum of daily assignments to do for grinding for diamonds, which even that wasn't giving you that much diamonds anyway. So that would take you so much more time to grind and farm for diamonds as well. So this was a huge problem because players felt like they had been waiting for something that didn't seem to be of high quality or a high standard that should have taken a 3-year time. Upset players would take to Reddit, and I actually went to this Reddit to try and dig up some comments, and this was one that really stood out to me. 3 years of delays, this is what we get. A school with only one class. While this was happening, multiple content creators on YouTube and Twitter began speaking out. And what Barbie did was, instead of listening to their constructive criticism, she instead tried to silence them. This would be the case with Call Me Hailey, a very popular YouTuber who has 2 million subscribers. However, she made a 1-hour video stating that her Royale High badge was removed. A series of ongoing messages between Royale High and Call Me Hailey started appearing, and honestly, I feel kind of bad for Call Me Hailey because she clearly states that she had no deviant intentions to hurt or push Royale High into a boiling hot water of drama. She's just trying to give constructive criticism, which, if you don't know what that is, basically means giving something or someone criticism on how to improve something, or just giving them advice on what to do if they're in a situation, either to improve it, take something away from it. That's all she's doing, and clearly this has been taken the wrong way, as Barbie has claimed that this is against the code of conduct, and Call Me a Haley's Bad was removed, meaning that all signs of criticism was forbidden and it was not allowed publicly. Which, if a game and its developers can't handle criticism, which is based on a huge Roblox platform that thrives on criticism, you've got a bit of a problem there. It shows that you don't really care what the community thinks about you. And as much as that's a hard pill to swallow, it's true. If you can't learn to take criticism, don't upload series of games that you can't back up into. I don't want this video to turn into a huge negativity, but kind of feel like this is where it's gotten up to. But I just tried to offer some clarity to why such a massive game would fall so far. It's really sad. This game once used to thrive. I don't have anything against Royale High. It's just that they just made a series of mistakes that made it worse. And that is why games will die if they make the wrong decisions. And that is where I will end this video for today. This is not an online bashing of Royale High. This is simply just a clarity video and what went on and what went down with Royale High. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and of course, make sure to have a great day. Bye!